Hello and welcome, student. Before we start solving previous tests and exams, I would like to make this important disclaimer. The following will be just a practice exam, and it's only intended for revision purposes only. So it has nothing to do with your actual exam. It is not a model for your exam. It's just for you to revise, to test yourself, to practice more, keep yourself with a timer, be in the exam environment. You shouldn't assume the actual exam will be identical to this one. It's also crucial before you start viewing this review is that you complete all the homework problems, look at the lecture notes, and watch the previous video to ensure a thorough preparation for the exam. This is only a practice exam. It's just for revision. It will not help you understand the material. You need to do the homework, lecture notes, watch the videos before you come and see this exam. Hello and welcome to this previous exam, which was from the summer semester of 2023-2024. So, as you can see in the summer exam, it was consist of many multiple choice questions. We have 20 MCQ, as well as we have 4 written questions. So let's start with the written questions and then I will go to the multiple choice questions. First question is, we have the demand function, so the price equal 44 minus q squared of a certain product. Now, what we need to do, we need to find what will be the consumer surplus. So we have to find the consumer surplus. So just to remind you, what's the consumer surplus? Consumer surplus is equal the integral from 0 to a very specific number, which we call it Q0. And then we have the demand function, which is already given to me in the question, minus the equilibrium price B0. So this is the formula that we have here. Now, as you can see in the question, I have the demand function, so I'll substitute it here. I have the equilibrium price, I'll substitute it here. The only thing you need to find is what is the equilibrium quantity. So just let me prepare everything and then I will find the equilibrium quantity. The demand is 44 minus q squared minus the price, which is just 8 dq. Now there is something missing, which I will just put a question mark here, and that is the equilibrium quantity. So if I go to one side of the equation here, what you need to do is find the equilibrium point. Remember, in order to find the equilibrium point, which will consist of Q0, P0, we need to find the demand equal to supply. But in this question, we don't have the demand and supply. We just have the demand. But luckily, I have extra information, which means the price, this one, is equal to 8. Now, if you have the price equal to 8, you can find exactly what you need. Remember, the price is 44 minus q squared. Now, this is 8 equal 44 minus q squared. If you move 8 to the other side, it will be just negative q squared plus 36 equal to 0. If you do mod 5 3, you will get two answers, 6, or you will get negative 6, and this is directly rejected because it is just a quantity. Hence, Q naught equal to 6. This is the equilibrium quantity. So if you go back to my formula here, all what you need to do is just erase this one and write 6. And now we need to do this integration. So this would be integral from 0 to 6. It would be 36 minus q squared dq. Which if we do this integration, it would be just 36q minus q squared over 2. Now we have to substitute by 6, and then we have to substitute by 0, the answer would be just 144. And that's the consumer surplus. So just let me repeat what I did. First of all, I wrote the equation for the consumer surplus, which consists of demand minus the equilibrium price. The only information was missing for me was the equilibrium quantity. And how did I find the equilibrium quantity? I substitute 8 for the equilibrium price. Why? Because it's written in the question that the equilibrium price happens when P equal to 8. Once I did that, I found that Q naught is 6. So I substitute Q naught here is 6. And now it's just an equation. I have 44 minus 8, I get 36. And then I do the integration of 36, which is this one here, I get 36Q. If you do the integration of Q squared, you get, this should be Q cube over 3. So just a typo here. And now the last step, you just substitute 6 instead of each Q you can find in the question. So just substitute 6, you get 144. That's the question number 1. And the written part, let me do the other question. Which is this one. Now this one we need to find the area of the region bounded by the graph. Remember, in order to find the area, the first thing first, as a solution, we need to sketch. So step number 1, we need to sketch the graphs. How do we sketch the graph? Remember, first of all, this one is a parabola. And it looks downward. It's open downward. Why is that? Because remember, in the parabola, the a, which is the number in front of x squared, is less than 0, which is -2. So it's less than 0. So I know this will be a parabola going downward like this. Now, all what you need to do, you need to find the vertex. Now, in order to find the vertex, it will give me how can I shape this one. So the first step, we need to find the vertex for the red one. And in order to find the vertex, you need to find the x-axis of the vertex, which is minus b divided by 2a. Now, a is -2. What is b? Now, b is the number without an x. Can you see any number in front of x, only x? The answer is no. So I know that this one is c, this one is a, so where is b? B will be equal to 0. Because there is no b, b is equal to 0, and the final answer is x equal to 0. Once we have x equal to 0, we substitute it in the y, so it would be also 6. So the vertex point equal 0, 6. So we go and now sketch the graph. So I'll just go ahead and have a very nice sketch here. And now remember 0, 6 will be this point, and it will go downward somewhere like this. That is for the parabola. Now, how about this line? First of all, this is a horizontal line. Why it's a horizontal line? Because it's equal y equal a number. It's horizontal line. If it is a vertical line, it will be x equal a number. And if it's a normal line, there will be y to x plus 3, and then we can graph it by using the intercepts. But now this is just a horizontal line at y equal to 4. So this is 4, this is the horizontal line. And now, where is my region? This is my region here. What we need to do next, find the intersection point. So find the intersection points. How do we do that? We take the y in red and we make it equal to the y in orange. Now, what is y in red? y in red is 6 minus 2x squared. What is the y in orange? It is just 4. Now let's move everything to the right side. We will get 2 minus 2x squared equal to 0, which means if we solve it with this, x equal to 1, x equal to minus 1. So I know now that this is minus 1, and I know that this is 1. What we need to do next, we need to put a rectangle in the middle, and we find what is the top and the bottom of this rectangle. Well, it's clear that the red function is the top, the orange function is the bottom. So if I just copy this page, so what we will get here is when we need to find the area, it would be the integral from -1 to 1, and then we have the top function, which was in red, minus the bottom function, which was in dx. All what we need to do is we just need to write the top function, which was 6 minus 2x squared, and we need to write the orange function, which was y equal 4. So just rewrite 4 dx. This integral can be simplified. 6 minus 4, this is 2 minus 2x squared dx. And now we need to do the integration. And then we substitute from -1 to 1. If we do that, this would be just 2x minus, this will be x cubed, and then I divide by 3, and there is a 2 here, so I keep it. Now, with your calculator, substitute x equal to 1. You will get an answer. And then do the same thing, substitute x equal -1, and you will get another number. So the first number you will get is just 4/3. The second number you will get is also -4/3. So if we just do everything in the calculator, the final answer is 8/3. So this is the second question in the exam, which is top minus bottom, and we reached the answer here. So if I just repeat what I did, first of all, I sketched the graph. How did I sketch the graph? I know this is a parabola, so I just sketched the parabola. And then I know this is a horizontal line, so we just sketch the horizontal line here, and we get this one. Of course, you need to find the vertex and do it down. Next step, you find the intersection points, and once you find the intersection point, you apply the formula for the area, top minus bottom, all the steps to reach the end. Let's go to the next question. Well, next question, again, I have the demand function for a certain product, and it's given by this one here, where B is the price and Q is the quantity. Find the average price as demand range from 49 to 99. So here, you need to find the average value of the function of the price, which has a formula. If you remember, the formula is B minus A in the denominator, and then you do the integration from A to B for f of x. So if I do it here, I know that I need to do the integration from 49 to 99. So B is 99, A is 49. And then we do the integration from 49 to 99. And what is B? What is my function? It's just 5,000 plus 1,000 divided by Q plus 1 dq. This integral will be, will be 50, integral 49 to 99. Now, this integral is easy to find. Let me just explain how we will find it here. Well, the first thing is 500. It's just a number, so I just add q to it. Now, if you look at this one, what is the derivative of this? Derivative of a q plus 1 is only 1, which is already there in the top. So here we have u and we have u prime. Forget about the 1,000. So you get u over u prime, and this is just ln u. And how much u is q plus 1. The final step, you need to substitute 900 and then you need to substitute 49, subtract them, do everything in the calculator, that's better for you. The final answer will be 513.86. Of course, this should be in dollars. And that's how we do it. So the only trick, remember, the integral of function and its derivative, the answer is ln u. That's the key here. Last written question is the following. It says that the rate of change of the average cost is given by this. So I have the derivative. Remember, if I say the rate of change, what I really mean here is I'm giving you the derivative and I'm asking you to find the original function. So how do you find the original function if we have the derivative? C of Q, of course here the average cost, it will be the integral of dc by dq, which will be the integral of 1 over 4 minus 100 over x squared. Of course, this one I can just now change it to x, because this is by mistake, there should be an x here. So, what we have here is just the usual integral, 1 over 4 minus 100. Now the x, I will raise it up so I know how to find the integration, and now I can find the integral. Integral of 1 over 4, we just add x to it. Integral of x minus 2, we add 1. So if you do it with the calculator, you will get x negative 1. And then we need to divide by negative 1. Of course, plus a number which we don't know, it's just, we call it d. So the final answer is 1 over 4 negative 100 over negative 1. This will just give me plus 1x negative 1 plus d. And that's the average cost. However, you need to find d. How do we find d? We have an information given to you in the question. Let me just write a line under this information. If you have 4 units, the price will be, the cost will be 56. So if I just put 4, the answer should be 56. Now put 4 in the question. It will be 1 over 4 times 4 plus 100 times 4 negative 1 plus this number, which is d, equal to 56. Now, if you do all this in your calculator, this will be 1 plus 25, so we get 26 plus d equal 56. So d alone is just 30. We find d, and that's the very good news. Why it's a very good news? Because now I can write the whole equation correctly. Plus 100x negative 1 plus 30. Now, in the question, he just doesn't want me to find it in general. He also wants to find how much if I substitute 50 units. So 50 units, that's what we will get here. If we do it with the calculator, the cost would be in dollars, 44.5. And that's how we find the initial value problem. So if I give you the derivative, you do the integration, you will get a constant d here. You need to find the value for d. Once you find the value for d, everything will just follow immediately. And now we will move to the multiple choice questions. As you can see, we have many multiple choice questions. And in the multiple choice question, please try to be as fast as you can and try to be efficient. However, in this revision, I will go through them one by one, explain them from scratch. But again, there might be a shortcut here and there where you can use it. So the first question here, I need first of all to expand this bracket square. Remember to expand this one. This is like a plus b all square, which is just a square plus 2ab plus b square. That's what we get from here. So we need to expand this one, and we need to expand it the same way we did in the class. So this will be just the limit as h goes to 0. Now you have minus 8x squared. You have h. Here you will have to have an 8 waiting for you to get in. And inside the bracket, you do the first one squared, which is a squared, plus the last one squared, plus 2ab, which is xh. Next step, take the 8 inside everywhere. So this would be equal to the limit as h goes to 0, h here. So you get 8x squared plus 16xh plus 8h squared minus 8x squared. And now you can do the cancellation that we find here. Negative 8x squared with 8x squared get cancelled. So we get this one. 16xh plus 8h squared divided by h. Next step, you can see that we have an h here and h squared here. So I will take one of them as common factor. So you get limit h goes to 0. If you take h as common factor, what is remaining is 16x plus 8h. Now we can cancel h with h. So we get this one. 16x plus 8h. Now if you substitute h equal to 0, the final answer is 16x. Which if we go here, it is answer part D. Next question is about finding the derivative of the ln. I don't know where should I write. Let me just do it here. Now for this question is, I have this one, y equal ln x plus 1 ex. So the first step, I will distribute the ln on x plus 1 and on ln e. So it will be ln x plus 1. Remember, the ln does not go to the plus. It only distributes when we have a product. Plus ln ex. So it is ln x plus 1 plus x. Y plus x, because remember, ln and e, they cancel each other. So just get x. And this is y. I don't want y. I want y prime. So remember, y prime, if you do the derivative of ln u, it is just you write u here and you write u prime here, which is the derivative of u in the numerator. So we get x plus 1. And now we get just 1. Plus, of course, 1. And that's the answer. We have only to look at this answer. And if you can see, the answer is the same as our part A here. Next question. Just do it here. We need to find the derivative of this one. Remember, if we want to find the derivative of u power 3, we use the chain rule. So first of all, we take 3 down here. So we get 3 power 2. Now this, you write it u, and then you do u prime here. So the derivative here would be just y prime equal 3. And it becomes square. Whatever inside, we keep it as is. And then we find the derivative of the inside, which is just 9. Now we have 3 times 9. This is just 27 to this one. 8 plus 9x squared. Now, which answer corresponds to this one? 27. There is only one answer with 27, so definitely this would be the answer. That's question number 3. Let's go to question number 4. Oh, number 4 is very easy because here you have just to find the derivative of x over 3. Remember, I don't care about over 3. What's the derivative of x? It is 1. Now, there is a 3. We just keep 3 So the answer will be just 1 over 3 here. Next question, we need to find the integral of this one. How do we find the integral of 5? What is the integral of 1 over x dx? I think we know the answer. It's just ln absolute value of x. So this will be just 5 ln absolute value of x. And then we substitute 1 time with e, 1 time with 1. So we get 5 ln e minus 5 ln 1. If you put this in your calculator, the answer would be 5, which corresponds to part E. Question number 2, it's kind of look complicated because you have something here and something here. Now, however, if you think about this one as u, then what is u prime? Well, u prime would be 2x plus 1, which is exactly this one. So here I will use the power rule where I have u to the power 3 with u prime. And the answer would be just u power 4 over 4. So that's the whole answer. So the final answer will be power 4 over 4, keep the u as is. And that's the answer, which corresponds to D. Next question, we need to split the denominator. So you will, first of all, you split the denominator, dx. Next, you have x divided by x squared. This is just 1 over x. Now, 1 over x squared, this is just x negative 2. And that's the answer will be just ln absolute value of x minus x negative 1, and we divide by negative 1. So the final answer is ln x plus x negative 1. Remember, none of this is one of these answers. So we need to rewrite it a little bit in order to find an exact answer. And remember, x negative 1 is just 1 over x. And that would be just part B. Question 8, again, we have, if we think about this as u, what is u prime? U prime will be 3x plus 3, which is the same as, if you take 3 as common factor, it will be 3x plus 1. However, I'm sorry, x squared here. However, I don't have 3 here. So what we need to do, we will add 3, and I will divide by 3. So we will have integral of u, and here I have u prime du. That's an easy, straightforward integral. Sorry, this is dx. Why this is an easy forward integral? This is just ln absolute value of u. What is the absolute value of u? U was this long expression plus 14 plus c. Now, which answer corresponds to this one? I think it's C. So we just need to see. Question 9. All what you need to do to rewrite it first, this would be x power half plus e negative x plus x squared dx. And now we just need to find the integral. X power half, we will add 1. It will become x 3 over 2. And we divide by 3 over 2. Now, remember the integral of e ax dx, it is the same. And we divide by the number in front of x. So this would be plus e negative x, 1 divided negative 1. And finally, we have x power 3, 1 over 3. Now, look at this one. 1 divided 3 over 2, if you do it with the calculator, this is 2 over 3. Now, x power 1 over 2, this will become square root of x power 3. We can keep it as is, doesn't matter. Minus e minus x plus 1 over 3 x cubed, and that's the answer for similar to the answer in C. And that's question number 9. Question number 10 is a word problem. So you have the marginal cost. Remember, what is the marginal cost? Marginal cost is another word of saying I have the derivative. So we have the derivative. We need to find the original function. How do we find the original function? This is something we have done many, many times, is by taking the integral of the marginal cost, which is the derivative, dq. And that's equal to 2e 2q plus 3 dq. Now what is this integral? This is just the integral, remember, of the integral of 2q would be the same. Let me do it here. And then we divide by 2. So you have 2 and you divide by 2. Plus the integral of a 3 is just 3q plus the constant, which is not here, I'll just add it. We call it d. So my final answer would be c of a q equal to e2q plus 3q plus d. Now you have the fixed cost. Remember what is fixed cost means. Fixed cost means if you substitute 0, the answer would be 500. So if we put 0 here, we should get 500. So let's put 0. If you put 0 here and 0 here, what we will get? We will get E0 plus 3 times 0 plus this D equal 500. Now how much D alone will be just, this will be just 1 and this will go away. So the D will be just 499. Now which answer is similar to my answer? It is just part B. Next question, we need to find the slope of the tangent line to this curve. So this is curve, I cannot find y alone, so I need to use implicit differentiation. How we are going to use implicit differentiation? We just take derivative. Now what's the derivative of 3x squared? Just 6x plus, what's the derivative of 6y squared? It will be 12y, but when you do derivative of y, you just add y prime to it, and the answer equal to 0. Next step, try to find y prime alone. So we'll have 12y equal negative 6x. Don't forget y prime here. So how much y prime alone? It's just negative 6x divided 12y, which is equal to negative over 2y. And now you need the slope. So you need to substitute the point given to you, which is 1, 1. So we'd get just minus 1 divided 2. So the answer is negative half. Which one is negative half? Is the first answer here, which is part A. Next question is we are giving the instantaneous rate of change. Remember, this is another word of saying I'm giving you the derivative. So I'm giving you the derivative and I want the equation of the tangent line. So now, can I remind you what is the equation of tangent line? Well, the equation of tangent line is the same as the equation of any line. So it is y minus y1 equal mx minus x1. However, because the word tangent means this m should be derivative. That's the only difference between tangent line and any general line. So this is just derivative. So here we have y minus negative 36 equal the slope, which is 64, x minus 1. And thus we get y plus 36 equal 64x minus 64. And that would give me y alone in one side would be 64x minus 100. Which is part D. Question 13, determine whether the function concave upward or downward. How do we find that? We find the second derivative. So you have to find the first derivative, which will be 6x squared minus 18x plus 12. I don't want the first, I need the second, which will be 12x negative 18. What you do with this, you substitute the number, which is 1. So you substitute 1. How much I will get? You will get negative 6, which is less than 0. So this is concave downward. Next question, find the interval of x values where the function is decreasing. Remember, decreasing we need to find, first of all, we need to find the derivative and we make the derivative equal to 0. Why we do that? Because I need to find the critical numbers. Derivative is this one. And so x equal to 4. So you go and you do the number line and here you put 4. Now you need to find for me the sign of f prime. How do you find the sign of f prime? Take a number which is 0 and substitute it here. If we do that, this will be just positive. Take a number more than 4, which is 5, substitute it here, you get negative. So this is going upward, this is going downward. Which means decreasing means I will start from 4 to infinity, which is this one. Last thing is, I'm giving you the derivative and I'm asking you about the original function, how we find the function if we are giving the derivative. So f of x would be just the integral of the derivative that is given to me. So the derivative is just 5e to 5x dx, which is the derivative of e5x. It is e5x. You divide by 5, but there is a 5. So it just be e5x plus c, which is, the answer is D. Here again, same thing. I have the integral is this one. I need to find the function f. How do I cancel the integral? I don't want to see the integral. The only way you cancel the integral if you take the derivative. So what you need to do is find the derivative of this one. However, there is no x here. So what's the derivative? Derivative is 0 directly. Next question is the integral from 5 to 5. This is one of the formula that we have. The integral from the number to itself, always 0. Next one, if you remember this, we need to use the power rule. How do you use the power rule? Imagine this is u. Ask yourself, what is u prime? U prime is 5. I don't have 5. So what I need to do, I'll just add 5 here, divide by 5. Now you have u and you have u prime. So all what you need to do, you add 1, divide by 1. So it's 1 over 5 times 5x plus 8 power 4 divided by 4. So we get 20 5x plus 8 power 4, which is part C. Next question, if you have e power 3x, remember e power 3 constant, so we just need to find derivative of x, which is 1. 1 times e power 3, the answer would be just e power 3 And finally, we have the total cost, and we need to substitute it here. So we need to find the marginal cost. Remember, the marginal cost is another way of saying this is the derivative. So what is dc by dq? Just 5. So the answer here is very simple. The answer is clearly only